All right, Friday, 5 o'clock. You know what that means. Let's hit the books here, part of the Hammer Betting Network, alongside the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Joey Knish, producer extraordinaire Zach Phillips. I'm merely Brad Powers. Before we talk the upcoming week of college football, get you guys some more best bets, talk a little Michigan football, and maybe some extracurricular activities. Let me remind you guys that Hit the Books is brought to you by BetStamp. The easiest way to improve as a sports bettor is to use multiple sports books and always getting the best odds. We recommend using an odds comparison tool like BetStamp. BetStamp compares odds across every sportsbook for games, futures, and player props. You can save time and money by checking BetStamp before you bet. Download the app today. If you're looking to sign up for a new sportsbook account, please check out the offers available at betstamp.app/hitthebooks, or you can hit the link in the description. If you sign up through this page, it does help support the show. Knish, my man, what's happening, man? I see you got the free Harbaugh shirt.
Another baseless witch hunt, another opportunity for the NCAA to try and take Michigan from the pinnacle of the sport. Just absolute, a mockery of what used to be a proud organization, the National Collegiate Association. Embarrassed, disgraced, just one of those where an absolute nothing burger that, everybody will love to jump on for clicks, but it will not deter Michigan from going to where they're heading this year. But it'll be fun for the trolls, and hey, it gives us some content. So
let me ask you this. Obviously advantage you if you know what I'm going to do, if you know my plays and my signals. But if I know that you know my signals, isn't that advantage me?
It's like the ultimate, there people are trying to make this like, oh, well, no wonder they're winning games. They know all the plays. That's not really how it operates. Obviously they found some guy from the military, and he's good. I'm shocked. He's good at decoding signals, and so you're probably able to pick up a few plus plays a game if you can get him on something. But I mean, what does that last? To drive before they know what's going on? So yeah, I agree. I think it's I just think it's one of those things that's overblown. But it's Michigan, it's Harbaugh, it draws attention, and I'm sure there'll be a little bit of blowback here. But hey, good for the college football community to throw some gas on the fire.
Love it. Actually, what do you think? We'll just lead with that game. What do you think it does for the Michigan State game? Obviously, already going to be a heated game considering what happened a year ago in the tunnel and whatnot. These two teams do not like each other. Fan bases hate each other. I expect a spirited effort out of Michigan State early, but I expect Michigan to pull away late. What say you?
I lean that way too. I wish I had a hotter take on the side on this game. I liked the 10 play with the total. I think both teams will, super slow tempo in this game. When Michigan State's had some success on offense this year, it's been kind of running these, longer drives. Neither team huge on explosive plays either. So I think it could be, an uglier style game, one of those that, I'm still kind of leaning at the current number under. But I tend to agree with you. I think you'll get, Michigan State's obviously their best effort, whatever they got in the playbook in the first half. The difference being that they just don't have guys on this Michigan State. Like even the bad Michigan State teams had some next level guys, some talent. This team, it's just a team that's kind of barren from next level talent. Even on offense, like they don't have anybody at the skill positions that scares you. They're breaking in a new QB. They don't have anybody, the pass rush that is. So it's just the gap between these two teams is probably as wide as it's been in a while. But I agree. I know you were leaning on the first half. That would be, if I was going Sparty, that'd be the only way I'd want to play it.
Yeah, if you can find a first half 14 out there, I don't think there's hardly any. Probably zero. Yeah, they're on to that one.
Yeah.
It's not available. So I'll tell you that 24.5 at MGM minus 115. I did take a little Sparty 24.5 since I do agree the under's the play here. So that would be a lean for a pizza bet there. Let's get to it. As far as the chat goes, RW Fan 23, he was in early, 15 minutes before the show even started. Did the tent move Arkansas State? Yes. Mr. Dog Treats hit it back this afternoon and is on Power's side. Let's let Knish break the tie. Obviously, we're in. It'll be my fault if it loses, but what say you?
Well, I mean, like you're playing two drastically different numbers, right?
Yeah.
And that's where this is when Brad and I do a head-to-head on the show. We're always doing it at the same number. This is a head-to-head where Brett was what was it, 11 and a half, 10 and a half, something along that, and then it's getting played back at 8. So, I mean, you're talking about 3.5, 4 points of difference. So, and I mean, you take almost any game on the slate, move it points in one direction. A lot of people are going to change their opinion on the game. There's rarely a game where if, I like a team at 7, well, I probably like the other team at 3. So that's one R-dub where I just think you had such a drastic move where you were going to get buyers on Coastal eventually. But I to be honest, I prefer not to be a homer, but I prefer the original Arkansas State position of, getting double digits there. But I don't, I knew there would be a coast. I thought maybe it would wait until it got to 7, but obviously, the muscle man bought it up at 8. So I think it's just one of those that now it's probably shaped pretty good here where it's sitting currently.
Well, the original position was your idiot co-host laying the points on Monday morning. I know it's too early for you to wake up, even though you're 3 hours ahead of me.
Oh, I'm at 10 co-host 10 co. Yeah. So listen. Yeah.
It's fine. We know where the loyalty lies. I mean, we get it. Tent pays the bills. Couldn't do the show last Friday on time. We got the allegiance with Tent with Knish. So we got it there.
Well, so take that breakdown and sub in what I said about Bradford and it. But yeah, next time maybe I'll wake up at 9 to get the actual play in there. But I think the point remains.
It does remain.
I think
I would not have released Coastal at even 10 on Monday morning. 10's last I checked, 10's a key number. I just thought it might the chances of it closing higher were more than lower. I was wrong. We'll see what happens. Let's move along. Matt in the chat. I hit Oklahoma State, West Virginia over 49.5 this afternoon. Thoughts on that? I prefer the Oklahoma State side. They changed up their blocking schemes a little bit on the offensive line. They stuck with one quarterback instead of 3 the last couple of weeks, more with Bowman. I think that's the preference here. What say you?
I actually filled some under on that number for some peeps there. So I know that's bounced back and forth. Looks like there's a kind of a smattering of 48.5 to 50.5, depending on where you shop. Kind of lean the under on that one as well. I know this has been an Oklahoma State, offensive explosion recently. Does it keep up versus West Virginia? I'm not totally sure. They love to, ugly it up and play a slower pace than that. But I agree. I think the side there was at 3.5, Oklahoma State. I know the Tent like that. There were some buyers, though, some pretty immediate buyers, and some other people I know that bought it up at 2.5. Those another one that not going to have too strong of an opinion on where it's at currently. I think 3 was the number. You had buyers at 3.5. You had buyers at 2.5. So they hey, maybe that's it's like the turtle, but when my dog barks, you like the dog. So that might be the sign for the pokes there that the dog is in. But this is one that I think you're whether you're on the over or the underside of 3 is kind of where the positions have been.
Ronald in the chat, final decision on Miami, Ohio, Toledo. I'm riding the candle fade train, Red Hawks outright. Yeah, I agree with that. We just never got a 3. I'm not sure it's best bet material unless Knish says so, but I think Miami's the right side here. What say you?
Yeah, I haven't actually fired on it yet either. I'm kind of in the same boat. I heard some smatterings of people that might be on Toledo out there. That money never really showed up yet, though. In terms of getting it to even close to a 3 at most places. So this is one I'm going to ride out till post and see what I can get on the best price there. And usually I say this every show, but you can usually get a little better money line price there right before a game. So if that's the way I'm going to play it, this is one that I don't think lands in the best bet range, but that's just telling you how I'm planning to attack it.
Agree. LBD in the chat. Let's talk tonight. Oof, tonight's game is pretty ugly. Any takers on Temple tonight? 23.5 popping up now. Miserable weather. SMU good enough to keep the total down or pedal down. Temple D is terrible, but SMU's been an under team all year. Took under 57 earlier. Any buyer on Temple? It's been one way all week, man. I'm not. There's 22.5. Wow, 20.5. Oh, wow, plus 141. Never mind. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you saw a little bit when North Texas, whose defense is absolutely miserable, didn't know what to prepare for. Temple had a little success in the run game, the quarterback. Now you've got all that on tape, and you've got a better defense in SMU knowing what's coming. All the indications are Warner's not going to play. Temple had some other injuries that they've been dealing with on offense as well. I mean, at this point, the SMU numbers way gone, but I'm
probably now for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's one where, listen, it's the only game on. Maybe SMU gets a score too early. You end up with like a 35.5 or something on Temple Live. That'd be the only way I'd be looking to play it now. I don't know the last I had checked, I know it's come down a bit, but the weather didn't look that bad. In terms of one of those that I think was gonna, significantly affect the game. So yeah, I don't see much way to play this at current.
Charles in the chat have to miss the show. He came in early. Anything for Air Force Navy? Should Air Force still be the favorite for the Mountain West with Larry or out? UNLV a good bet for the conference. Anything for the game too? Interesting because not only Larry are out, but possibility Navy is playing it with the third string quarterback. At least they played some snaps last week with the third string. Under has gotten heavy money. No surprise there as far as if a service academy game. Honestly, I thought the right side was a little bit of the movement today, wiping out the 10.5. So that would have been my preferred position there. So that's where I'm at. As far as the Mountain West, did you get involved, UNLV? I kind of like Fresno 5-1 because they get UNLV and Boise at home down the stretch. Anything future-wise there?
Yeah, it's been an uncharacteristically light year for me of adding conference view. I usually like to do that, but I haven't added.
Well, yeah, because you and me did all those shows. We had them all. We got them all in the bank already.
By the way, big win for New Mexico State last night. Who, if you're paying attention, is second in the day. If you got it, so if they go into Western Kentucky and win, guess who's playing Liberty in the conference championship? For those people who were trolling me early on, looking pretty damn good down there. Jerry Gill's got them rolling. So yeah, we'll see in a few weeks when they play Western Kentucky who's got the last laugh. But with that said, I think the Air Force running a little bit more of the traditional, usually. And I know Larry, they were running it very well this year, all yada, yada. Usually you can have a backup kind of come in and run that traditional triple a little bit more effective than what I would expect from Navy. With that said, am I lining up to lay, to have Air Force win by margin here in a military game? Not really. I know it's not your traditional. I know Navy's changed up the offense. Things have modified a bit. But no, I agree with you. That would have been the play. I didn't get involved. It's another one I haven't gotten involved in. But that would have been the only thing, a lean for me at 10.5.
Another Mac Dog by Ronald. Emu on the road. Eastern Michigan plus 12 seems generous. I would lean that way. I like quite a few Mac Dogs this week, to be honest with you. Miami, Ohio, Kent State, believe it or not, Ball State, Eastern Michigan. I don't know if Eastern Michigan's my favorite of the bunch, though. Did you play anything in that game?
No, I'm more with you on liking some of the other Mac Dogs more so than Eastern. Maybe I've been pretty anti-Eastern this season. They've been better the last couple of weeks, no doubt. But I don't know if they've been better or just kind of lucked into better results. But yeah, it'd be one that I would need a little bit higher number to get involved with Eastern. And now it's trended that way, but if I don't see, something closer to a 14, then it won't be a play for me.
Don't look now in Northern Illinois, pretty live in that West Division.
Yes.
We'll see especially if Toledo could lose. We'll see there. They're playing much better. Austin in the chat, any plays on Army LSU? Maybe Brian Kelly doesn't run it up on a service academy. And do we add Deacon Hill over 99.5 passing yards for the Joey props? That's funny. I'll let you tack the props. One-way money on the LSU game all week. Oh, my goodness. I wouldn't be a bit surprised it closes even higher than this. I can't play it now, though. I mean, if it hit 35, I'd actually play back Army.
Yeah, I mean, this is like as bad of a matchup as you could ask for an Army team that, going to be without the QB. Their passing defense, I mean, LSU could probably run 7-on-7 effort in the passing game and score on every trip down. I think the only thing you're looking for is, I agree with you. If it got to, closer to 35, Army goes really slow or something and, keeps it within 5 touchdowns. Maybe LSU gives up an explosive play or two, but I don't have a good case here. Obviously, the sharp money's come in on LSU all week, and that would be
Did
my
you get
only
the
play.
opener?
What? Go ahead.
Did you get the opener?
No, didn't get any piece of LSU this week. So that's another one I'm not invested on, unfortunately.
What about Deacon Hill? Are you invested on the Iowa quarterback props wise?
Actually, funny enough, you say this in this game, took the other quarterback, Greek Freak, in this game over 114.5. I think there's some 114.5, 116.5 in this one. He's hit that in most games, and it's an Iowa, pass defense bet. So it trended up a little bit. I saw FanDuel when I actually bet it earlier there, so that's probably why that's trending. But even at 116.5, 117.5, I wouldn't call it a best bet prop there for a total of 30. That's going to be on this one, but I like the receiving weapons a bit more, and the chance that Minnesota just their overall passing game's a little bit more functional. So I thought that number was a bit depressed based on the total. So I couldn't get behind Deacon Hill. I think if Iowa has their, druthers there, they'll hand it off 60 times in this game. They've lost every decent receiving option they have. Sure, could he hit 140 or 60 yarder and then goes 8 for 35 and, for 106? Sure, but I didn't play it.
Mickey in the chat, going back to the LSU Army game, did you do anything with the total? First half total, he's thinking over 30.5. I didn't even touch full game total on this game.
No, me neither. That's I guess it depends what you think Army can do on offense. I figure LSU can get a bunch of scores, but I don't have a great feel for Army against a normal LSU defense. I would say no. This game, they would absolutely shut it down and everything. This year's LSU defense, I'm not so sure, but it was one I wasn't getting a feel. Also, how much does LSU in the middle, really put into this game? I don't know. So it's kind of a game I was targeting to stay away from.
Buy on deck, then Bama off of a bunch of big time SEC games. I agree with there. Kyle in the chat, does Bielema get revenge and win outright this weekend? I liked it. I saw there was a little bit of buyback today on Wisconsin minus 2.5, but I like Illinois in this one. That Lockheed kid was terrible, Wisconsin. I'm not a Mordecai fan at all, but there was a clear drop-off, at least from what I saw in the film. And Bielema will be motivated, and hopefully, I don't know, when you see a team like Illinois been struggling all year and they finally break through, get that upset over Maryland, probably thinking bowl game now. Bielema has an axe to grind. He showed it last year when he went up to Madison and basically fired Paul Chryst by crushing Wisconsin in that game. 3.5 at that sport trade, even at little bit extra juice there. That'd be my preference. What say you?
I'm good. If you want to do 3 here for the best bet, now that it got bought back, I wouldn't have done under 3, but now that 3's available again, I agree.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm fine with it. Yep.
Yeah, I think, again, this is one we played early before Monday's show, but now that it's back in a playable range, I'm good at firing at 3. I'm going to add some little, if I can get access to that juice 3.5, play a little bit more myself. I agree with you. I thought Wisconsin's offense was pretty terrible with Mordecai, and he looked like a significant downgrade. And Illinois seems to have gotten the ship righted a bit. I like that, and even if they're without Reggie Love, that Fagan kid,
he looked 4-star kid.
They look better than Love to begin with. So I think the offense looks a little bit better. The offensive line looks a little bit better. And it's not a Wisconsin offense that I think can really attack some of the weaknesses on Illinois' defense in the secondary. So I think Illinois wins this game.
Yeah, I just rewatched that Illinois-Maryland game yesterday. I came away impressed. You mentioned the running back, the freshman. He was a 4-star kid for a reason. I think Michigan kind of wanted him. Notre Dame kind of wanted him. He chose Illinois, stayed in state there. Good-looking freshman, man.
Yep.
Capable of carrying it 25 times a game. And I thought there wasn't much flukiness. They just beat Maryland. So, good. Best bet there. Speaking of best bets, Ronald talked me off the Big Ten dogs, Illinois, Minnesota. We're not. But both of them are best bets. We just gave you Illinois, and then on Monday's show, we gave you Minnesota.
They're both live.
Yeah, both live that went outright. So there you go. A couple of Big Ten dogs there, best bets. Does South Carolina keep it within a touchdown? Interested to see what you have to say about this one. I like South Carolina plus 7.5. Do you agree with the 10? Now, the market went with the 10, as it should, but then bought back Missouri. I like South Carolina a couple reasons. They played the toughest schedule in the country. And I tweeted out today, rewatching the Florida game. What is the narrative? What is this line if they stop Florida on that 4th and 10? I'm not sure it's 7.5. If they're coming off a win against Florida instead of a loss. So South Carolina for me.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you now. We're at, especially at the 7.5. That'd be one that, again, Missouri has had such a high variance year. For a team that, it's been tough to put a thumb where they were literally in danger of losing to Middle Tennessee to go out and have, some other fantastic performances this year. So, but I agree. I think it's a little bit too much respect here. For the Tigers. So I'm with you. I think South Carolina, the body of work, it looks a little bit better than the record. They've had some, misfortune go against them. And again, Missouri's been, it's been such a, all their games are these wild back and forth, but I don't know. Again, great effort versus Kentucky in that nice win. A little bit too much respect for me here. So yeah, 7.5. That's definitely on the Gamecocks there.
So we got an issue. We got nearly 400 people watching and only 67 likes. Please hit that like button for Zach's state. Not for me, not for Knish, but for Zach Phillips. Hit that like button, please, for those of you watching.
Zach Phillips cannot rely on, edge work to pay the bills, baby. It's got to be the banner show on the network, and it's this one.
Tom in the chat, let's get it going. Michigan versus Penn State -2.5. Can be or +3.5. Penn State, FanDuel, money line in that game. Where should we be firing on this one? I don't know. Do you got to lean on this one? I need to see Penn State play somebody this week.
I know. Yeah. It's one of those where, you have to see what Penn State's offense looks like versus a functional defense here. We'll see what it looks like versus Ohio State. It'll be a better defense coming into Happy Valley with Michigan. So, gun to my head, I kind of lean the field goal and the hook at home there, but I don't know. I know what Penn State's defense will be able to do, but the offense has just been so. You look at some of those. We saw the advanced metrics this week, like their ADOT and all stuff. This passing game doesn't throw the ball past 10 yards. And they haven't really been able to run it super efficiently either. So I don't know how long, again, it'll be one that I know it's a cop-out because the lines won't be up, but you got to see it this week with Penn State for me before I would, really want to back them and taking the points there.
Yeah, I totally agree. +3.5 would be the preference right now. I'm in that 2.5 range, but I'm not super confident on my Penn State power rating at this point because they really haven't played anybody. Ask me that question on Monday. I will have an idea. Even though we possibly could lose a little bit of data point, a little bit of line, I'd rather that data point for the Ohio State game. Jobber the Mush, thoughts on Utah, USC? I think USC rolls. I tend to agree with it. I'm part of the USC money train early in the week. SC for me. Would have been the Monday pick, but it moved right freaking 10 minutes before the show. It would have been the Monday best bet on the Monday morning show, which Knish doesn't watch.
Yeah, I would have, and again, it's one at a number, that are no longer available. Would I have backed USC? Yes, probably up to about 6. I know it opened 4 or 5 and got better pretty good. At 7, I'm kind of out there. So it's not really playing. I agreed with the under move too. That's come down pretty significantly from where it was. So it's one Utah's going to try and ugly it up and run the ball and be physical in that. But I just think it's one of those, do they have enough firepower on offense to really stay within range here? So nothing for me here.
Jordan Smith hearing Ben Bryant likely out tomorrow. Did you hear this for Northwestern? Cats struggle to stop the run, might struggle to move the ball on feels like a good matchup for Nebraska at home off a bye. Well, speaking of not watching a show, Jordan, we gave out best bet Northwestern. To me, the quarterback doesn't matter that much for Northwestern system. I'm fine. Market agrees with our opinion on Northwestern, and we gave out 12.5 earlier in the week. I'm fine with it. Have you changed your thought process?
No, it actually, I didn't see the Ben Bryant update. I have to double check, but Northwestern actually got banged today pretty good, down 10.5 in most spots. So, no, for me, I still, and even if Bryant doesn't play, I still like the position. So I don't I can't get to Nebraska. I mean, you throw a walk-on back there, and it'd be tough for me to get 11 in this game. So I just think Northwestern's been above expectation for most of the year from what people thought was going to be an absolute bottom feeder. They really haven't been. They've been reasonably competitive. And they kind of, let the game go when they were up on Howard. So kind of the end result there, if you see only 3 points versus an SCF team, they were in control in that game for the most part, off a bye. Northwestern or Nebraska team that has no passing offense. So I don't see it. I still play it now, to be honest with you. So
yeah, anything above 10 was what we said on Monday. I have not changed thought process there.
Nope.
I'll tell you what's going to suck is if Northwestern wins another game, I'm going to lose their win total. I went that win total under 3.5 when the Pat Fitzgerald news was breaking. I'm going to freaking lose that. I can't believe that. Big Waltone. And this was a Northwestern team. You watched them the first couple games. I thought they struggled to win a game. Remember, UTEP was favored. And UTEP was favored at Northwestern. Big Waltone. Yeah. Big Waltone in the chat. Memphis -7. Yeah, we saw a big move on that. Zeno might not play for UAB. That would be
the word on the street is he's out. So it got bought up. Obviously, we're released today. I don't know. Do you have a strong opinion on their backup, whose name is escaping me right now?
Liddy kid from Louisiana Tech, I think. Played a little bit. Wasn't very good at Louisiana Tech last year.
I agree. And Zeno,
I'll say this: he's a bigger drop off than what this market is saying right now. This number, when it is announced, will go up.
I would lean that way as well, because I think Zeno had really had a pretty fantastic season up until this point, and a number of massive games. So I agree with you. I think the drop off isn't being totally priced in yet. So it'd still be Memphis or nothing for me at 7.
Agree. Matt D in the chat, Ducks -34.5. Alternative point spread against Washington State, I'm guessing.
I don't know. I was waiting in the line 19.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give me the plus. What are you getting?
Yeah, it's the plus 350. But no, I didn't actually. I don't have a side or a total in that Oregon Wazoo guy. I know Wazoo's gotten blast. Looks like they've fallen off the map after some early season success against the last 2 weeks. But I'm not laying 20.
No, I played a little over. I would lean that way. That's what I played early in the week, was the over in that one. You would think Washington State's offense would rebound, but it's been a bad couple weeks.
I don't know what happened again. I mean, UCLA, they were awful. The scoreboard looked a lot better than the game actually was. 44-6 versus Arizona. Yeesh.
I don't know. What did they do during the bye?
I don't know. I team that I remember first few weeks there looked like, whoa, baby, Wazoo's got it. I don't know what has happened.
Nicholas, maybe somebody's stealing their signs. Nicholas in the chat, App State, Old Dominion thoughts. I like the over in the game. Both teams secretly run a lot of tempo. You don't think tempo with either team. Now, Old Dominion's offenses suck, but they did play in an absolute monsoon in that FCS game against Texas A&M Commerce, where they almost lost outright. So that's suppressing their scoring a little bit. It's kind of a sneaky play. The old tout service gave out over here.
I like that. The over. Is there what is it? 55 around there? I kind of still I'm leaning that way. I thought that was App State. Boy, oh boy, that defense has fallen a long ways from where it's been. Both teams running tempo. Nothing annoys me more than having to check I don't think there's any weather for this one.
No, that's what was suppressing it throughout the week. There was weather, some wind, and possible some rain, but man, the forecast is clearing up for a lot of these games. So there's quite a few games that I'm looking at over right now because the weather's not going to be as bad.
Well, looks good tomorrow, baby. Get fire in that over, Zach.
All right, over 55. Yeah, I think it's more like, recent games, App State played UL Monroe, like a 41-40 game. Old Dominion played Marshall. You think Marshall's a dead nut under game if you watched last night? That was like a balls to the wall 41-34 game. I wouldn't be a bit surprised that's where we're heading here. So there we go. Best bet, over 55. Love it. John McWilliams in the chat. Thoughts on Clemson -3? Oh, I'll tell you what, if Clemson wins by 3, it'll be my biggest win of the season because I am all over the board on this game. I've laid 2.5. I've taken 3.5. multiple different times, depending on the news on Tyler Van Dyke. I will say this. You know what? I'm going to let you say, because I'm not sure. I got to see. It's a game I want to trade in game. I want to see if Tyler Van Dyke is close to 100%. Because if he's close to 100%, I like Miami. If he's not, then Clemson's probably the side.
I like Clemson here. I know Hurricane Knish. Maybe this is me being salty, but multiple tough games, in a row here. I think Clemson's got Miami in a pretty good spot. I don't know. Miami at home is like, maybe the least, maybe negative HFA, playing, 90 and sunny. There might be, 30,000 people there, 20,000 Clemson fans. So I think Clemson's got it here. There's a part of me that thinks Miami, especially if Van Dyke is not right, gets kind of run out in this one. So
best bet for you, Clemson?
I played some Clemson money line here when it got on 3. I scooped up a little bit of Clemson. It's got up there now. I played a little bit discounted to what's there now, but I like Clemson in this one. So anything at the 3 it was I would still lean that way at the 3. I'll put it that way.
Philip in the chat, Ball State plus 4.5 against Central Michigan. I like that. What say you?
Lean that way. I don't want to fire too many bullets at the Ball State train. I think we got what we wanted. We got a really inflated spread versus a Toledo team. It doesn't take away that Ball State's the rest body of work has been pretty ugly. And it's a Central team that I'm a little honestly I would actually lean the other way in that one just by a smidge, but I'm not. I haven't invested either way. Horrific performance versus Central versus Akron, though I will say that. And to be honest with you, last couple weeks they've been from a team that looked a little lively at the start of the year. It's been pretty bad, but so no, I didn't take part in that one.
Yeah, it looked way more live in non-conference. I was scared half to death the Michigan State game.
I don't know what's happened in MAC play, but it's been rough.
Yeah, went on the road, beat South Alabama. I mean, Michael Kalo in the chat.
What is that line if they play this week? I mean, Jesus Christ, with what South Alabama just did this week.
Oh my God, yeah, South Alabama. What the last 2 weeks for South Alabama have been combined like 110-10 last 2 games for them. My goodness, they're starting to play up to expectation. Troy and them are starting to look like the deserved conference favorites. That'll be good for the portfolio. Michael Kalo in the chat. Bowling Green minus 7.5. UNLV over 61.5. I didn't play BG. They're Jekyll and Hyde just because cash last week. I mean, who knows with them? I lean that way as far as the power rating, but I haven't got to the window. Would need 7. I did play the over. There was some under money came in the UNLV Colorado State game today, but I lean over there.
Yeah, market loves BG every week, but now I think it's kind of baked in here through 7. So I mean, Akron's. I still don't know if their drop off to Irons has been totally priced. It's been so bad. Like it's been so. I mean, you could argue in the last 2 efforts since they lost them. I want to say, what would you have this quarterback downgrade as, like 10 points? Like legitimately, like I think you can make a case for like 9 or 10 points from Irons to what they've gone to. But I don't want to get it's a 7 for me as I'm still there. If it gets bought back and I see some 7, probably play a little BG tomorrow.
Agree. I'm not there on 10.
Maybe I'm being hyperbolic.
No, but I think it's a touchdown. I think it's a touchdown, what you're saying. And the only reason it's not 10, it's not like they were setting the world on fire offensively with Irons, but it is a noticeable drop off. So you could talk me into 7 there, which is a lot for a team like that. Chuck C in the chat, any intel on if Navy's quarterback is going? Lean taking the points regardless. Article I read last night, because I was thinking about releasing Navy plus 10.5, said that Lavatai was going to practice this week, but it wasn't, 100% sure that he was going to play or be the starter. So I made me not bet it. And then, of course, the market bought them all up today. So, of course, that was the case. What are you hearing anything there?
Yeah, I kind of lean out, but I don't nothing substantial. And adjustment wise, it's another one that's probably not, massively substantial, but I agree. This is one that we kind of circled back here. It was probably a Navy at 10. I'm not really in a position where I'm looking to buy this one, either way. So especially quarterback troubles on both sides of things. So a lot of uncertainty here. And the good Navy number has kind of been taken out.
Trip in the chat, Iowa, Minnesota total. Please discuss lowest total. If it stays at 30.5, which is where it went this morning, would be the lowest total in an FBS versus FBS game, at least in the databases that I use going back 20 years. Now, we talked about this. We've seen some FCS Patriot games. I've seen at certain books like 29-ish, I think I was betting last year. But I don't know, man. I'm not betting under. Are you?
No, I didn't bet under. I mean, the case for I don't have a great case to make for this going over here in terms of both offenses, but it like a turnover or two and then some quick points and you're totally off schedule with these. So
yeah,
I don't have a great case to make for either offense, but it's one that I really didn't get involved in.
I'd be contrarian and lean over. That's just me because you need it to absolutely play perfectly to go under, in my opinion. Cover at 5, dog. Oh, round robin. Do you got the dog round robin? I got a few.
We touched on a couple that the Big Ten. We've touched on this game a few times. The Illinois and Minnesota are a couple that I'm going to have in my round robin lays as far as teams that I think are quite live. Both of those are the Big Ten. If you go to the MAC, I don't even want to say it. We're not going to touch on the Kent State game, but Miami of Ohio is another one that I think has some potential there as a live
Kent
dog.
State.
And what was the other one I was looking at? Georgia State was probably the other one that if I was gonna trade that back and forth either way. But those are a couple that were. And again, I say this for the last couple of weeks, but I tend to tear down the money line round robins as the season goes on. Market gets more efficient. The variance goes less. People know what to expect. So tend to target, maybe the games where you might have some differences. But I think those two Big Ten ones are probably my favorite on the board.
SG3 in the chat. UConn +1. You guys like that, or is it all lost all value? Was 3 early in the week. Georgia Tech -4.5 off the bye. You know what? I didn't bet the Connecticut side. Did not bet that one. I think Georgia Tech was a sneaky move today. That was unfortunate. There were some floors that popped this morning, and then it got bought up, and then they kept laying it on Georgia Tech. That'd be my preference there. Did you do anything? Are you part of that?
Yeah, I think there was a crew that's pretty well known that set that one up pretty good and then blasted it back. That would be the lean. I think Georgia Tech, the people are looking at before the defensive coordinator transition. I think they could be substantially, a few points better in rating. That's not caught up yet if the defense is going to play to a much more respectable level. So I agree. I missed it as well, but it would still be a GT or nothing for me.
And Connecticut, South Florida, did you do anything there? I played over. That got set up in the marketplace. I saw some people betting under early in the week. I don't know if it was weather related or what, but I took the over.
I actually was pretty close to a South Florida play in this one. Hadn't officially fired it in yet, but was kind of seeing if I could get a pretty cheap South Florida there. It was hoping to see where this was landing, but I lean USF. I haven't fired it in yet, but it probably goes in before post.
Money line? Are you thinking like -120 or what are you thinking?
That's where I was leaning.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I could not bet Connecticut now. I needed a 3 on Connecticut. I don't know, man. I don't like anymore. This is just me personally. I don't like the slow pace team against the fast paced team. I'm just not. And no. So I'm with you there. Reich's in the chat. Baylor under 49.5. I did not touch this game. Saturday total. I am scared shitless of Cincinnati games after last week. So I don't like Baylor either. So I did not play this game. Did you? I saw the market loves Cincinnati like it normally does. I wasn't a part of it this week.
Yeah, me neither in terms of being a part of it, but I agree. I can't get to Baylor here, and I agree. This is two teams that are kind of in the you've had in a wide range of the stay away zone, and laying points with Cincinnati hasn't been good. Baylor's had a couple of ridiculous results, but I
can see the under. If you had to play it, it would be the under for me. Side or total under for me would be the preference.
That'd be the way I'd lean it as well. Would be under on the total. I don't have really interest on the side either way.
Don in the chat, do y'all like Hawaii money line? Yeah, it's moved. I mean, a lot of people have been on it. Dr. Bob, Mr. Muscles. I don't think there's a lot of value now. Do you like Hawaii money line? I don't like laying points on the road with Hawaii. That's just
me neither. I'll be honest with you. It never got there, but I was kind of looking to bet New Mexico at 3 if it got past 3. Even the 3 got bought back a little, but I agree. I'm not. There's been some, even, and I know they got a few explosives versus San Diego State. The Hawaii season has really started to trend downwards in the last month. Schrager has not been good. I mean, he had a second half kind of came alive, but coming all the way again in New Mexico here, I especially don't like it now, and I'd be looking for a little bit more steam and probably buy some back in New Mexico.
DT plus the point, staying in the Mountain West. San Diego State minus 13. I mean, I was Mr. San Diego State last week, but I mean, we got lucky to get the cover there. I bet them because I thought a chance it could go to 14. Not wild about it. I would lean that way and it's more of a play against Nevada. Nevada's terrible, man. I mean, I expected more fight out of them last week against their rival, and it was men against boys against UNLV last week.
Yep. No, I agree. The only Nevada effort's been like a team where like they've like slept walk through the game. Yeah, like where the Kansas game where like Kansas like was like, we can probably beat these guys walking around. But other than that, it's been a pretty rough go of it this year. I don't want, you know what? It's a number that I wasn't really looking to lay with San Diego State there. So it's another one that I've kind of avoided.
Philip in the chat, BYU plus 3 versus Texas Tech with Tech's backup quarterback playing. I would lean that way now, even though I hate BYU. Not only the backup, third string quarterback. And there is a drop off there. So BYU for me now. Did you? I'm guessing you took some Texas Tech when that news was breaking. What was that, yesterday or 2 days ago?
No, some BYU. You said.
Yeah, some BYU. My bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I listen. I'd still lean that way at 3 and the under. I know the under on Texas Tech games have been a little bit horrifying, but the kid they're playing now is just brutal. And so again, it'd be an absolute. If they were playing some other team than BYU, I'd really love to bang it and actually fade them. But Morton, by all accounts, not going to be able to go. And I think you could see Texas Tech do some Wildcat or that kind of stuff because, the kid that came in was really bad. So that's, money line round robin, throw BYU in there because it's a game at high variance. You could get a disastrous performance from Tech's true freshman QB. So, still like it at 3, still lean the under at 51.
D. Lee 23 in the chat. Is this the week for Kent State? It is time. I do like Kent State this week. I'm just letting you know. So, sorry, bud. I like Kent State. Buffalo.
I was like,
how are they at 7?
At 7, I mean, even I really was expecting a better, and I agree with you. I'm not a Buffalo, but and maybe it showed that but I was like, it would be easy to get 7.5. It's never really popped, which probably tells me this is the week. So, I mean, I'm not going down with the ship without betting a Kent State ticket after 8-0-8. It's like that there was the Browns or the Jets season like 4 or 5 years ago where like they inflated numbers every week. They never covered any of them. I'm still going back to it well. So I'm gonna have a Kent ticket. I'll tell you that. I'm not missing out on the Kent cover.
There you go. I agree with it though. Danny J. Ole Miss minus 6.5 against Auburn. I think stylistically, Ole Miss is terrible for Auburn. I could be very similar to the LSU game last week, but my power ratings say that's more than priced into this line. Did you do anything? I took Auburn plus 7.5 early in the week. The more I dive into this matchup, I kind of like Ole Miss.
Yeah, I agree with that. I kind of like the matchup. Was hoping for a little cheap. To be honest, at 6, I'd be. And there, I think it might even show. But I agree. I'm still leaning Ole Miss. I haven't fired on it yet. Was kind of seeing if they're, a 5.5, 6 would pop. Don't know if it does, but I like it.
Z exhumes in the chat, or I don't know how to pronounce that. I can't do my Z's and X's. How would you pronounce it, Knish?
What is it? Zed in Canada? Is Zed now that have Phillips or Moretto come on here and see it? So yeah, we'll see what he has on there.
Mississippi State, Arkansas. I kind of like the over, and Utah State +4 against San Jose State. I bet the over early in the week, but I'm telling you, the under is the play in the Mississippi State Arkansas game. Mississippi State's quarterback could be out. There'll be quarterback run for Mississippi State in that game. So I think the under is the sharper play now. Utah State, I think, is the sharper side against San Jose State, but it's kind of not the best price right now. What say you?
Yeah, I agree. That's come down a bit, but I'd still lean the Utah State. I mean, San Jose State has not been playing good football for quite a while, and even the offense last year got super fortunate. So I agree. I think the Mississippi State side of things, if Rodgers is out, it's not an over I want to be on, and then the Arkansas's pace and all that stuff, and so no, I wouldn't want to be on that.
Graham in the chat, did Knish beat Moretto today?
You'll have to tune in to see. But other than that, we're not going to comment on it.
Yes, in the chat. Georgia State +3.5 against Louisiana. Yeah, now it's a 3.5 Georgia State for me. Early week money on Louisiana. I do like Louisiana's freshman quarterback, but I can't get 3.5 here. Georgia State for me.
Yep, I bought some 3.5. That's what I was waiting on. Got there, so bought a little 3.5. There's actually even a little. I mean, that's a juice for it, but yeah, I like the 3.5. Once it got
as a
there,
best bet, you like it at 3.5.
If you're with it at 3.5, I'm in there. I don't think
we'll come back to that one. All right, we'll come back to that one. Yeah, that's good. That's a good possibility. Duffy Man 12 in the chat. Could you elaborate on no teasers on college football? Just too many way too much variance. I still get -110. Oh, why do you still get -110? Because it's not very profitable. Seems like Navy +16.5, Minnesota +10.5. This I could get behind for Duffy Man because of the extremely low totals. I still am not going to take it, but if you were to play a teaser, Navy 16.5 and Minnesota 10.5, it's not long teasers, but when you have two extremely low totals, I think he's on the right track there. I can't recommend betting it, though. Would you take that?
No, I mean, there were, again, we have not told this story. We've gone around on Twitter 8 billion times on it, but when there were places that were like +100, +110 doing college football teasers, then you could get behind it and do it in that kind of game with the super low total. At -110 or worse, I don't think the math makes sense anymore.
We will not go down that road as far as
that horse has been beaten to death so many times that I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah, if you want a conversation on that, just hashtag gambling Twitter. That's the rage. Jonathan Reed, UTSA -2.5. No, I like FAU on this game. I like FAU outright. I think the light bulbs come on for Tom Herman's bunch off the bye. I like the over more, though, I got to tell you. And we gave out over on Monday as the best bet. So I like FAU in the over. Where are you at on the side? Because you agreed with the over on Monday.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I know they're not a ton of them to access, but if you're they're mostly in Nevada, but there's some threes out there, and we won't do it as a best bet because it's not widely, but there's some threes out there. So if you got access to an FAU 3, that's what I know both of us have bet that or better than I would recommend that.
Yeah, Harris has come back, but they have not looked scoreboard looks the part. Box score has not looked the part for UTSA. That Temple game was very misleading. And hell, they even got outgained by UAB last week in a 3-touchdown win. So overrated UTSA. Arthur in the chat, Tulane -20. I didn't get there, man. I was hoping to bet them this week, but it just came too high. I don't know. What say you here?
No, yeah, that was one I didn't. Again, they've been an absolute wagon. So I'm not gonna, talk you off it there with North Texas having like historically bad defense, but I just didn't get there either. I thought 2021 was kind of about right. So yeah, I didn't end up laying it.
Zachary in the chat. Yeah, BYU Texas Tech under 51. That would be the preference there with the quarterback situation for Texas Tech. And I'm just not buying BYU. So there you go there. Grant in the chat. Kansas State TCU, best Big 12 game this week. Money came in on TCU, fading the Avery Johnson train. They said, give me that Hoover vacuum for TCU. I'm guessing you're a part of this TCU money here that showed up today.
Played. You know what? I mean, if Hoover's the guy who I was skeptical, I'll doubt, but if he is potentially, I don't want to equal or maybe a small upgrade from Morris. And again, we've only got one small data point, so I'm not going to go crazy. But then I think this is a bit too high for a Kansas State team that it's been fading pretty hard. And I know the Texas Tech result looks okay on paper, but it really because Morton went out and Texas Tech quarterback got out, and then they ended up pretty fortunate. So I can't get to 6 here with if TCU's quarterback play is going to be respectable. So which I think it could be. So I'd agree with the move.
Kai on the chat, can UConn win outright this weekend? Well, I mean, they're only like a 1-point dog, so absolutely they can. Knish, though, likes South Florida. He'll be on South Florida money line there. Kind of agree with that. I think Connecticut +3. I don't even know if that was the play, to be honest with you. I thought 3 was fair. I didn't even bet the 3, to be honest with you. Matt in the chat, Texas team total over 41.5. That's pretty good. I kind of like that, to be honest with you. I kind of like that a lot.
Yeah, the Houston defense has just
think it's good?
looked awful in every single game they've played and every single game that I ever and not only from schematically in that, it's like they don't play with any passion or effort or any of that stuff. I don't mind that at all.
Yeah, I don't either. I like that quite a bit. Not a lot of team totals until game day. You see only one book there, but yeah, that's good. I wanted Texas. Somebody hit that on Sunday before I could hit the submit button there. I think Texas crushes Houston. I think Dana's the type that was celebrating for 3-4 days what happened last week. Even though it was a Thursday. The saving grace was a Thursday night instead of a Saturday night. Walker in the chat, Texas Tech -3 or ULL -3.5. We're opposite on both. We like both dogs in that one. So BYU +3, Texas Tech's quarterback. And then ULL, we're coming back to that one. Might be Georgia State best bet, +3.5. Indiana and Rutgers under 40. Oof, I'm not there. Did you bet the side on this one? I can't get the 5 on Rutgers, but this does mean a hell of a lot to the program. They're going for bowl eligibility. If you look at their last 4 games, they're going to be a dog in them games. So they need to get to the win here. It's up to 6. I can't get the 6. I mean,
no,
I'm almost on Indiana at that point.
I like 6 too, to be honest with you. I thought Indiana, they got rid of Walt Bell. The offense against Michigan looked more fun. Now, again, talent just won out in that game, but the offense looked a lot more functional. I think Tom Allen, he gave Michigan, again, we're talking about a half here, but against a team where the talent gulf is, as wide as the Grand Canyon. I thought Indiana looked more improved offensively. The game plan made more sense. And I trust Tom Allen to have a good defensive game plan. I like 6. I'm actually gonna bet some 6, to be honest with you. So
best bet at 6 because I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm in there, and I'm gonna click it while we're doing the show here because I think that just moved to 6 while we were on here. So yeah. I'm a buyer at 6.
Yeah, I am too. Indiana +6, best bet. There you guys go. That's why it pays to stay and watch the whole show because we fire in a bunch of these best bets at the end. And we got Joey props maybe coming up here in a few minutes. Dave in the chat. West Virginia -3.5. Nope. Oklahoma State +3.5 would be the play there. If you can still find it, 3.5. Do not. If you want West Virginia, don't lay 3.5. I can tell you that. You can disagree with our Oklahoma State. You can find much better than 3.5 right now in the market. Mike in the chat. Ohio -16.5 over Western Michigan. I'm not there. I can't get there. This would be another one where I lean with the MAC dog here. I saw the 17s got bought up today on Western Michigan.
Yeah, actually, but bought up a little for 17 the other day. Not a massive position or anything, but just thought that was a bit high.
Joe Everett, FAU. Yep, we agree. FAU for us there. Dane in the chat. BYU, Texas Tech injury whispers. Yep, Texas Tech down to a 3rd-string quarterback there. As of this week, can you both go through your 4 playoff teams? All right, I can do that. I'll go Georgia still, even though I think that's a little precarious now. Michigan, obviously. I'm going to go Texas because I think they went out and win the rematch. And then I'll go Florida State. I think the Pac-12 beats up on one another.
I will say Georgia, Michigan, Washington,
Oh, wow.
and North Carolina.
I love it. That'd be something, though. Did you take anything? You
I
ain't
didn't
got on
actually
the
bet. No,
ACC,
I know
man,
it was a bit on last week's show that I've been buying up the ACC dogs. I didn't actually bet that. But no, I feel good about the first three. I think the fourth is fourth spot really, really, really wide open. So it could be a smattering of 5 or 6, 7 teams.
Yeah, I mean this would be a great year for the playoff. I wouldn't say that most years, to be honest with
I
you.
know this would be the 12-team playoff bang. That
Yeah.
of course has got it. Next year it'll probably be terrible.
Yeah, next year it'll be back to the 2-3 teams can win a title. Matt, Leonard out for Duke, under either way. Yeah, I agree with the under either way. I like Florida State. I think Florida State, honestly, I could see Florida State winning comfortably, like 3 touchdowns plus. I think that's
Yeah.
the old Tent beat everybody to the punch on that. I wish he would have waited. That was the one where I was like, damn, I wish he would have waited. Nobody's waiting on anybody. And I don't, everybody, you want to fire a bet in, you fire a bet in. So I'm not going to bitch and complain. I'm not one to talk on that. But that was one of the sharpest moves I saw all week when Tent gave out Florida State minus 13.5. If he's watching, you son of a bitch, because that was really good as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, because I mean, you're either getting no Leonard or a Leonard that, and we've said it on the show. It looked so bad when he got hurt; those high ankles. It looked like a really severe one. That if he doesn't have his mobility, he's just not a super effective quarterback. He's not a elite pocket passer type guy. So, yeah, I think Duke a little bit of trouble there.
Yeah, if they got to go to Beelan, I mean, he only completed 4 passes last week. Got to do something more this week. Oof. I know it's been tough to get margin on Elko, but they has not played a Florida State caliber team on the road in this type of situation. They just haven't. So you look, Clemson moved the football. You screwed up the red zone. Notre Dame was compromised off the Buckeye game, and we're down 3 wide receivers. So Florida State for me. Ben in the chat, Avery Johnson, 2+ touchdowns, plus 550. What do you think about that? Because quarterback run game at the goal line.
Yeah, I don't hate that taking a flyer there. Are they gonna? I mean, I guess it depends on what you think of his total usage. If he's gonna be, are they gonna rotate Jalen Howard? Gonna tell is he gonna get every snap in the game? So that would be my only drawback there. Is are they still gonna go with the QB rotation there? Is he gonna get every snap in this game? I think a lot of it probably depends on how it plays out, but. I mean, I'm not going to talk you off throwing a sprinkle there.
Austin in the chat, the line is dropped, but Jordan Travis under 250.5 passing yards still seems like a great look. I don't like Duke defense. The Duke defense is legit. What's your guy? What do you say and franchise say about Travis's props this week?
Didn't actually touch. I don't think we had any props in that game for this week. I would just.
Did they post Riley Leonard again? Are we going back to that?
Well, you say
Riley Leonard rush yards.
I was going to say that's it. Fit them up, Zach. What do we? No, they didn't. They didn't. Our last week was the week to get him, and of course he doesn't play. So our 10-star banger of the century got voided there. Sadly, but I don't. You know what? I don't have a strong take either way on the Travis passing.
Teeks in the chat, need a status update on Brad's Notre Dame fandom after the win last weekend.
Back in?
No, not in. It's been fading like an aging star for a long time. So no, it's never going to be the same after the Buckeye loss. I'm being honest with people. Eat that in the chat. But I mean, come on, it was a culmination. Eat that in the chat. Thoughts on Penn State, Ohio State over 44.5. I haven't heard anybody say over all week. I think the under is the play. I'm part of the under money early in the week. What do you need to bet the over? What price do you need? 43.5?
That's what I was just going to say. It would be a touch lower. So there's a pretty wide range of tools out there. Yeah, I agree. I would need a bit lower to even be interested on middle in this one because I liked under pretty good there, or the early week numbers at under.
Chuck C in the chat. Sun Devils train always. Bourget over 225.5. Penix under 360 passing. We gave out. We were the originators of the big time Arizona State team early in the week, plus 28.5. I like both those props. Do you?
Yeah, those are both franchise approved. Yeah, he liked the Penix under, the Bourget over. And so yeah, this is one that I think, especially with how beat up he got last week, that if there's any chance for them to kind of rest Penix or have him come out of the game early, I think they'll take it. And I think Arizona State probably going to go YOLO mode, throw it all over the park. So, yeah, I think you'll see Bourget get at least a lot of attempts. Will he hit the number? I don't know, but I think it's low enough where it's worth a play.
We going both plays there?
Fire them both, Zach. Hey, those are about what numbers to play them at. So there's not a huge delta between what we bet them at and where they're at now. I think they're pretty similar. So go ahead, fire them.
So Penix under 360.5, I think I saw there, and Bourget over. Wow, we got a lot riding on that game. If we're right, that's 3 wins, though. So, love it. I think that's going to do it. Let's go ahead and recap the best bets.
I got one. You want the Joey?
You got a couple more?
I know we got a little bonus Joey prop here. Zach, go to the Michigan State game to see if it's listed here because I didn't see it around a ton of places. And it's going to play on last week's show, baby. That, you know what, we're buying and selling the market here. Donovan Edwards rushing yards.
Yep.
Over the 23.5. This was actually a couple yards down. Listen, we took him under last week. It ended up closing higher because Kalel Mullings, their third string back, was out. He's going to be out again, it looks like, with the hand injury. The guy behind that's a true freshman. I think you're looking at worst. And I know Edwards, he's not been in sync this year. He hasn't played great, been a little dinged up. I think you're looking at worst in the 6 to 10 carry range. And the guy's, it's a 20-yard prop. And he's a guy that, can get that on one carry. So we're taking that over 23.5. I wish it was a little bit more widely available. But if you got that option in FanDuel, play that. That number's way too low for a guy that there's almost no scenario where he doesn't get 6, 7, 8 carries in this game. Obviously, Corm's the bell cow, but with the running back 3 out, I don't think this is a game they're going to want to put it in the hands of a true freshman who's, with the running back 3 now. So I think Edwards gets well over that. And it's a Michigan State run defense. That's not any damn good. So, yeah, like that quite a bit if you got access there.
Love it. 3 props today. 3 player props today. If you can, Zach, can you pull up the best bets? We'll recap them here, and then we'll call it a show. Indiana +6, that was today. Love that ticked up. Minnesota +4.5, that was Monday's show. That is agreed with us. Illinois +3, that was today, playing against a little bit of the move on Wisconsin today. Northwestern was Monday's show. Market is agreed, especially today. Over, we gave out a little bit of negative CLV. I'm here to tell you, I love that. That's one of my favorite bets the entire week, over the total on that one. I gave out Coastal Carolina. So I am with Mr. Dog Biscuits, Mr. Muscles. Tent and Knish are against it. So we got a tag team matchup for the tag team champions of the world, me and Mr. Muscles against Tent and Knish. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Over 55 was App State, Old Dominion. Sneaky game there. Both teams run some tempo. Donovan Edwards, a beautiful prop from the Michigan Insider, Mr. Joey Knish. Penix under, banged up a little bit. Bourget throwing all over the place off the bye, healthier for him. And then Arizona State +28.5 on the Monday show. I do not like this portfolio this week. I do not like it at all.
Horrible portfolio. Yeah. Before we sign, we didn't touch Tennessee Bama. Did you do anything in that one?
Wow. Guys. How can we not touch that game? That's on me. I lean under. I honestly didn't bet. I wanted to hit 10. I pushed 10, and somebody beat me to it. But honestly, and we said this, I believe, on Monday, if you asked me if I wanted to lay 7, 7.5, or take 10, I would probably prefer the Bama side here. But under for me would be my preference. Did you do anything here?
I actually, when some Tennessee steam came in, I bought a juice 7. I think it was like a 7 minus 125 at a site that let me buy onto it cheaper than normal. So so that was a position I wasn't able to get a ton down there because it was one book. But yeah, it was a juice 7 on Bama. Obviously, now it's steamed up pretty good. But yeah, I'd kind of lean that under as well.
All right. That's going to do it for previewing the third Saturday in October games. For the man, the myth, the legend himself, Joey Knish, producer extraordinaire, Zach Phillips. Guys, make sure for all the show updates, you're following us on Twitter at Hit the Books HQ and at the Hammer HQ on Twitter and X. Make sure you're always subscribed and hitting that like button. Thanks again, guys. We hate the portfolio. We'll talk to you Monday at 5.